Hello and welcome to this panel on business strategy best practices. My name is Taylor-Leonard. I'm the CEO of Taylor-Leonard Corporation. And to kick off this panel, I'd like to introduce you to our panelists. So first, joining us as president of Montgomery College, Dr. DeRionne Pollard is committed to empowering our nearly 60,000 strong student population to change their lives and enriching the life of the community. Since her inauguration in 2010, Dr. Pollard has spearheaded the development of a new Montgomery College mission and Montgomery College 2020, the institution's strategic plan. Other priorities have included partnering with Montgomery County Public Schools and the universities at Shady Grove in the creation of Achieving Collegiate Excellence and Success, or ACES, a support program designed to help students transition from high school to college completion. Dr. Pollard is a proud graduate of Leadership Montgomery and was named its Outstanding Leader of 2013. Other awards and honors include Washingtonian Magazine's 100 Most Powerful Women, the Daily Record's Influential Marylander, Bethesda Magazine's 50 Most Fascinating People, and the Washington Business Journal's Minority Business Leader Award. Next to Dr. Pollard is Gil Branco, and Gil is the program manager of Hillman Entrepreneurs Program, an initiative of the Merlyn Technology Enterprise Institute, or MTech, at the University of Maryland. Prior to joining MTech, Ms. Branco led the launch of the Hillman Entrepreneurs Program at Montgomery College in 2012. Before joining the program, Gil was faculty member at Delgado Community College and co-coordinator at the college's entrepreneurship program and a mod faculty member for the Goldman Sachs Babson College 10,000 Small Business Initiative in New Orleans. Gil has an extensive business experience with Fortune 500 companies in developing strategic organizational programs, implementing learning initiatives at all levels of an organization, transforming underperforming teams to highly effective teams, identifying opportunities for growth and new business ventures, as well as creating business markets and teaching adults. So welcome, Gil. Next to Gil, we have Raul Medrano, who is the Director of Business Development and Community Affairs at AQUAS Incorporated, a minority, woman-owned business with expertise in healthcare, agriculture, and environmental science, transit, and infrastructure consulting. Last month, AQUAS was named 2014 Information Technology Company of the Year by Montgomery County Department of Economic Development. In addition to being heavily involved in local philanthropic endeavors, Raul is a business and economic development professional with proven experience and leadership in the areas of public-private partnership, land use and commercial development, workforce, and small business development. And next to Raul, we have Nesreen Khashan, who is a data dissemination specialist with the U.S. Census Bureau, serving Maryland and Metro D.C. areas. This is her 5th year with the federal government and her 4th with the Census Bureau. Nesreen provides presentation and workshops to the business community, local and state governments, nonprofit educational institutions to help them understand what the Census Bureau data is and how it's available to them and how to access that information. Nesreen also works with local media to promote Census Bureau data and to respond to inquiries. So welcome, panelists. Thank you for joining us. And so I'm going to kick off this question or kick off the panel with a question to Dr. Pollard. So as a part of academia's call is to prepare our students to be contributors to the marketplace, whether they're employer or employees or employers as entrepreneurs. And so since this is a small business conference, I'd like to focus primarily on academia's impact on the small business arena, specifically entrepreneurism. So what resources does Montgomery College make available to aspiring and or established entrepreneurs?
Sure. Well, first of all, Kelly, thank you for the opportunity and delighted to be here. It will come to you as no surprise that I have to do a little bit of context setting about higher education, community colleges in general. And I think for me, as if I were a small business owner, a large business owner, anyone in between, I think the issue that probably keeps you up the night, besides making the bottom line, is talent. Both in terms of talent acquisition, but also managing that talent. That's the thing that keeps me up at night when I think about Montgomery College. How do we ensure that we have the workforce that will allow us to position the organization for the future, while at the same time making sure that we have services and programs for that workforce to really help them expand their capacity. So for me, I think Montgomery College is very deliberate in that. Half of all undergraduates in this country attend a community college, and that's not a well-known fact, because oftentimes we think about our alma maters as the places where we earned our baccalaureate and advanced degrees as the place we talk about. But we think about the gateway for so many folks who come to higher education is indeed through a community college. So one of the things I would tap into if I were a small business is what types of programs and services are at a community college that allow you to look at the talent pool to help expand your workforce. We have a number of programs that speak to that. In addition to our regular associate's degree and certificate programs on the credit side of the house, we have cybersecurity and biotechnology and numerous other programs. We have phenomenal programs also on our non-credit side, which work very much in line with business to produce workers that are needed right now. We see a growing program that we have right now. I'm very excited about an apartment maintenance technician. This was actually brought to us by an association that said we don't have enough people in the pipeline to assume these responsibilities. So they work with us to develop a curriculum, and we're working primarily in that program with English speaking, who have a lot of proficiency in English, to help them not only develop a concentration in English, but also a concentration in English and a skill that they will take them to be able to succeed for them and their families. That to me is very powerful work. The last thing I would offer to you in this vein, Kelly, is also a number of extraordinary programs that we have that go outside of the traditional academic program that people may not know about. Several honors programs, and two I'll highlight because I have someone sitting next to me who will talk about them even more so, I'm sure. One would be our Macklin Business Institute. It's a long-term program that really works to introduce community college students into the world of business, has them in a very rigorous academic program, exposing them to some of the top business leaders in our community and nation, bringing them to our institution, having a very rigorous program of study for them, and with scholarships to allow them to continue through that and to transfer to some of the best institutions in our state and in our country. The second program would obviously be our Hillman Entrepreneurs Program, which is really, I think, Mr. Hillman, in creating this program at Montgomery College, talked a lot about this idea that entrepreneurs don't just simply follow a business track. He was very deliberate and in the design of the program, looking at how we have students who come from all across the academic spectrum to help them think about how they can be entrepreneurs. So very excited about those opportunities. Again, how all of them really influence the talent base that I think employers would be looking for.
Absolutely, and I sort of have a bias slant towards the Hillman's program because I know our company has benefited directly. Our intern, Darpin, is in the audience, and he's just been absolutely amazing. Keeps me on track, keeps me on my toes, and it's just a robust talent pool. The younger generations, reaching back and helping the younger generation, and so it's just been an extraordinary opportunity for us to feel like not only we're giving back, but actually we're getting such a tremendous resource bank through the Hillman's program. So I thank you for everything that you're doing to support that program. I didn't even realize that it was as new as it is because it's been running so well. It seems like it's been something that's been there forever.
We have extraordinary talent who helped start the program, and we have extraordinary talent working in the program now.
Awesome. And with that, I'd like to throw a question your way, Gil, in terms of, because we're talking about business strategy, and so we often hear the concept of working in versus working on your business. And I think as entrepreneurs, we get caught up in the day-to-day, just the operations of our business, where we lose sight of maybe the longer term perspective. And so can you provide us with some of your insight or guidance in terms of that whole notion of working in versus on your business?
Thank you so much, Kelly, for that question. I don't know how many of you were in previous panel, but Natalia also mentioned that she's regional administrator for SBA. She said she goes to all these events and hands out her cards. Only 10% of people follow up with her. That means that the other 90% of people are in their businesses, working in their businesses, while they should be following with her or outside working on their businesses. The difference is one letter word, but it's detrimental to success of business. Working in your business means that you are in your business trying to do everything yourself, doing all the tasks, daily data operation, you exhaust yourself, and there's not much time left for you to plan, strategize, work developing on your business, your staff members, enabling, empowering them, identifying resources. As many panelists earlier session mentioned that seriously, the Maryland is an amazing region. There are a lot of free resources available for small business owners. The business people should focus on working on their businesses out there, exploring these resources, developing relationships. For said that if you want to grow your business, you definitely have to be working on your business. And it starts with trusting your people. Why people you think work in their businesses? Trust is a big thing. It's a human nature. They want to control. They think that nobody else can do as good as they can, because business, especially small business owners, the group of people that I respected most, because they put everything in line, not only for themselves, they put their families through as well. I'm married to one of the biotech small business owner. I know what it means to be a family member of a small business owner. They work so hard, they are so passionate. However, if they want to grow, if they want to excel, they have to trust. They have to hire right people, meaning that not necessarily the best skills, but honest people with high integrity, people love what they do, and give them one task, let them be the best they can be. Let those people own their businesses. Because if employer or business owner try to be there all the time and doing everything, something will give in. You can be everything. You can be best in everything. Today's economy, competition is out there. If you are not extraordinary, just being good is not enough. Somebody else will be there better than, faster than you are. You have to be extraordinary. To do that, you really rely on your people. Business is a team sport. It's a group activity. You have to identify those people, train and treat them with respect, and enable them to empower them so they could own their businesses. There are a lot of strategies that I can suggest. You want me to get into a couple of things?
Of them, yes.
There is one, again, work on your business, plan. Planning is key, as Howard says. Strategize and identify your key success factors. Every business has that, but it's different for each business. So you have to identify your unique business, key business success factors, and you need to monitor that. You don't need to do daily, day-to-day basis. However, you need to see that how outcome is affecting and where you can be beneficial. Also, design a business to be based on process, not people. That's very crucial. A lot of people, especially when they start as a 1 or 2 people business, and they don't think the necessity of having an operational manual. You really do need to document that. When you hire somebody, you need to go through the steps. You need to train people the same way, so that if you are not there, the people that you train can do the same work. It's very crucial. A lot of people face, actually they are okay in the stage 1. However, once they grow up, they don't know what to do then with the process, because they don't have a process and they fall apart. That's detrimental. Other thing is that for your customer service, I think a lot of people fail to understand the importance of offering value versus trying to sell products and services. People try to focus on selling things. If you differentiate yourself as that rather than selling products and services, you are there to solve your clients' or customers' problems or identify their needs and try to fulfill them, offer value to them, they will be loyal to you. If you focus on your internal customers as well as your external customers, which means that your employees are your internal customers. A lot of people forget about that. They focus on outside, and while they don't treat their employees very well, but you have to remember that your internal customers are serving your external customers. So you need to make them feel important, you treat them well, and they will treat your customers well too. Also involve in your community. This is huge. As what we are doing here, we are all part of the community. You have to remember that. Your customers, your clients, you need to turn everybody into business friends in a way. You have to develop relationships. It's crucial because even when you talk to someone, if they are not your customer today, maybe they will never be your customer. However, remember that they might know somebody that will be your ideal customer. So these are very crucial. Some of the suggestions I'll make working on your business rather than in your business.
Awesome, and you made a great point, which is a good segue to Raul, because I know part of what he is a master at doing is this whole notion of getting in the community, sort of rolling up your sleeves and just building those relationships, whether it be with nonprofits or other business leaders or with government and elected officials. And so Raul, I would love for you to share some with us in terms of what's the best way for a small business or entrepreneur to become engaged or involved with their local community, as well as to build relationships with some of those key decision makers that are developing and writing policy that ultimately is going to help us to grow our business.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad Ms. Branco brought up the issue or the notion of community engagement, which was also on my list for small businesses as far as the strategy goes. We just recently had an event this past Friday. The AQUAS is very much involved in the Hispanic Chamber of Montgomery County and the Hispanic Business Foundation of Maryland. And the foundation had an event last Friday. It was the closing out of a program with MCPS high school students where they're mentored by business people, and it's about, I think it's a 12-week cycle, and they had just completed the program where we link them up with local businesses and they're mentored, and it's a paid internship as well. So from a company's perspective, we're involved in that particular event because we actually hired some of these students as well, and we have in the past and in the present. That allows a lot of these students in particular to happen to be Latino students in MCPS, 11th graders, 12th graders, get exposed to the business community, get exposed to the arts community. We got Pyramid Atlantic involved in this particular cycle, as well as another company that's here, Copiosity, I believe. And they interned some of the students as well. So this allowed these students to hopefully in the future would apply for the Hillman Entrepreneurship Program. So you start creating that pipeline, right? And it goes all the way through from Montgomery College, University of Maryland, and then on to bigger and greater things. But again, from a company's perspective, that's what you want. You want to motivate these kids to get involved in the business community. And from a company perspective, it rewards us. I mean, there's no price tag on it. I mean, Carmen was working on an RFP. Our president, past midnight, they were on a deadline for an RFP, and she was so excited that I'm sure they got done late when they finished it. But I mean, she was there early in the morning, involved in the ceremonial event as well, because it's their passion.
Right.
It's my passion as well, working with youth as well. So that's a way a small business can give back in a strategic way in the community.
SBA's primary program, the 7A Loan Program, helps finance startup and existing small businesses when they can't get financing from other sources or from a lender who won't make a loan without an SBA guarantee. It's SBA's most basic and popular loan program, offering flexibility, longer terms, and potentially lower down payments compared to other financing options.
These loans are not funded by the SBA directly, but banks receive a guarantee that the SBA will repay a portion of the loan if the business defaults on payments.
This lets small businesses get loan amounts to fund startup costs, equipment, inventory, and working capital.
Loans made through the program may be used to start a new business or to acquire, expand, export, or continue operating a current business. Specifically, they can be used to purchase new land or equipment, including construction costs or repairing existing capital, purchase an existing business, refinance existing debt, purchase equipment, machinery, furniture, fixtures, supplies, or materials, fund short and long-term working capital needs.
The 7A loan program also helps small businesses in traditionally underserved markets.
To help drive growth and job creation, the SBA is committed to expanding small business access to capital in underserved communities. These initiatives offer a more efficient application process for minority, women, or veteran-owned businesses, or a company in a lower income or rural area.
To be considered eligible for the SBA 7A loan program, businesses must operate for profit, have reasonable owner equity to invest, do or propose to do business in the United States or its possessions, and use other financial resources, including personal assets, before applying for a loan.
Contact your local SBA district office for a list of participating lenders in your area. Visit sba.gov/loan programs to learn more about how the SBA helps small businesses get financing.
Of building relationships with maybe your government officials
Absolutely.
and people of that nature?
I suggest that if you're a small business, either contract somebody out, or if you can do it internally, start doing media relations, develop your own news releases, press releases. I've done that in the past. We were recognized, no, I was reading the Gazette. It was the Gazette newspaper. They do a feature piece in business and politics highlighting small businesses, and I love the articles. Kevin Shea, I think, is a reporter, and I had mentioned to him, I'd like to add to your pipeline of businesses that you could feature, and there's one in particular that happens to be woman-owned, Latina-owned, in the IT services, which is rare. It's a rare find. And I said, this would be a good feature piece for you to feature on, and sure enough, they followed up with it, and they did a real nice piece on our company and what we're about, and then the community and different things. And so that's a way you can leverage. We didn't have to pay for that. It's in-kind media outreach that you can do as a small business. But as you do things in the community, this gives you an opportunity to reach out to the media in a different way. Political-wise, any type of award that we win, I'm always sending out a news release to Mr. Sarbanes, who was here earlier, our federal elected officials, our state elected officials, our county elected officials as well, because when they hear things about you as a company, as an entity, and you're based here in the county, then they will hear your name, the company, and what you're about. Then they become more advocates for you also in some way, and that's a very helpful thing. And I think our company has done that well within the county, starting with our president, who's very involved in a lot of advisory councils as well, and community, as I am, and others too that we have on staff. So reaching out to your elected officials and the media is also strategic. And it's again, if you can't do it internally, consider hiring a media source entity to do that type of thing for you. It'll be very positive.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because oftentimes we as business owners, we are only reaching out to our elected officials when something goes wrong. And I think it's important that we do highlight and showcase the good news, because there are a lot of great things that are taking place inside of our companies. I would have never thought to have sent out a press release or information to my local elected official when you're being recognized for something. That's a great tip in and of itself. So if you didn't jot anything else down, write that down.
Absolutely.
And do it. And again, tomorrow's a very important day. Everyone will be voting in primaries and all that good stuff. And so this, take advantage of the fact that we as taxpayers, yes, it's okay to share and air some of the challenges that you may be having, but it's also important to highlight the great things that are taking place here in the county, because there are a lot of great things that are taking place. So thank you for making that point, Raul.
Thank you. And I'd just like to say, I used to formerly, I worked for the Economic Development Department of the county, and I know that we engaged quite a bit with Montgomery College as a strategic partner, the University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins University. I mean, this county is rich in resources and talent that are out there for small businesses. There's an incubator network that's out there as well in Wheaton, Silver Spring, Germantown, Rockville. I mean, the local small business reserve program, as I was talking to the gentleman sitting to register your company, get involved, get your company out there, and follow up with the county employees as well, especially in the economic development side, and make them accountable, because it's your tax dollars that are paying, and you need to leverage that as best as you can in a positive way.
Absolutely, thank you. And as you all are thinking of, if you have questions that you want to ask, feel free to come to the mic and we will field those questions for you as we go along through the next half of our panel. So I'm going to throw a question your way, Nesreen, because I know with the Census Bureau, it's funny. I think as a consumer, I always think of the Census Bureau, every 10 years or whatever that number is now, you fill out the little form, and I've never really thought of them as a business tool or a strategic business tool. And so what I would love for you to share with us is what kind of data does the Census Bureau does it have, and how can that information be used for us as small business owners that are looking to grow our business, whether our clients are consumers or other business entities?
Sure, Kelly. Thanks for having me here today. And you're right. We're really trying to move away from that preconception that we're this flash in a pan agency, and we are only conducting this decennial. We're always conducting surveys, and we have a lot of data on census.gov about businesses, the economy, and householders. So whether your clients are householders or other business, if you're business to business, Ms. Branco spoke about the importance of strategy and a business plan. And there's also discussion about, Raul spoke about the notion of community involvement. Well, I couldn't imagine, and I think if you visit the resources at census.gov, you won't be able to imagine putting together a business plan without identifying who your community is. And you can do that anecdotally, but you can do so much more powerfully if you say, this is the median income in our community, these are the demographics in our community, these are the education levels in our community. My business model is, it's childcare. These are the number of children under 17 or under 14 in my community. My business model is targeted towards seniors. Here's the number of 65 plus in our community, and so on. Through the American Community Survey, we release 69 different indicators about your community, and are released every single year. Every single year, you can get updates for your community. At the county level, you can certainly get data for Montgomery County, but you can also get data at a granular level, at a geographic level. The Census Bureau refers to as a census tract, but for your purposes, it's really just a neighborhood level. There are more than 200 different census tracts in Montgomery County. So yeah, it's great to know that what the median income is for Montgomery County. But if you're going to expand a business or start a business from scratch, and you need to find a location in Montgomery County, you really need to look neighborhood by neighborhood at the variations in income and demographics to make the most informed decision. So, and the Census Bureau is the only source for that granularity. The other piece of this, whether you are going to household clients or other businesses, is you need to research your industry. Whether you're in retail, whether you're in the restaurant business, you need to know how your business, what it looks like, what its average receipts are at the national level, at the local level, and even at the zip code level, so that you can assess your competitiveness and find out if it applies to you, how many businesses in your area are competing against you, and how many are your potential clients as well. So we actually conduct, a lot of folks don't know this, every 5 years, ending in 2 and 7, we conduct an economic census. And we just conducted one in 2012. We're actually releasing those data on a continuous rollout through 2016. So right now we've already begun releasing the national level data, and next you'll see state and then city, and then eventually your zip code level data. So as a small business owner, it really behooves you to, when you're thinking strategy and you're thinking business plan, you really need to have data incorporated into the process.
So you mentioned 60 community indicators.
69, yeah.
69. So what types of, like, what would be a good example of an indicator?
Great question. So things like languages spoken at home, demographics, the race and ethnic makeup of community, median age, median income, education level. On the housing side, there are indicators such as how many of your households are spending more than 30 or 35% of their income on rent or mortgage and related costs. Why is that important? Because if your household has a high median income, but it's spending 35% of that income just to make the mortgage, guess what? That suggests less disposable income. So those are among the indicators that you can get: how homes are heated, how old the homes are. So, you know, if whatever your market is and whatever you're looking for in a customer, among these 69 indicators, you will gain insight into what your next move should be.
And then you also mentioned the term census tracts.
Yeah.
200 what exactly is that?
Yeah. So, you know, I don't want to get too jargony, but it's a statistical geography. Basically, it means these are geographies that are defined by the Census Bureau in consultation with local counties. They're based on population thresholds, right? So when I said Montgomery County has 200 of them, it's because there's more than 1 million people in Montgomery County, and census tracts have about 5,000 people in it. So think about Silver Spring. A census tract in Silver Spring is going to be a smaller geography because of the denser population than a census tract will be in Damascus. Okay. So, but all in all, and then going to another, you know, like Allegheny County up in western Maryland has about 12 to 15 census tracts because it has a much smaller population, of course.
So, Nesreen, so when you think about business owners, we already talked about the fact that we have this slant towards maybe working in as opposed to on our business, and the fact that we are all very busy. And
yeah.
When you think about looking at data, a lot of people get afraid. They're fearful. You know, some of us don't even have great financial records. So when you think about, okay, now I've got to spend time to look at this data, are there resources that the Census Bureau makes available so that we can sort of compress the amount of time that it takes for us to get that information? Or is it an inquiry that we could just send directly to a resource at the Census Bureau to then pull the information in our particular area or demographic that we're looking at?
It's all of the above. You're always welcome. Anyone here is welcome to contact me. I do conduct data trainings for small business owners. I've done a number of them by now, and I'm really comfortable with what your needs are. And I always get, you know, usually the reception I get, people are really amazed that these resources are available at their fingertips. So I can give you the data, there's no doubt about that, but it's also just a lot more empowering. These data are free, and if you learn how to access them yourself, your curiosity is you're going to run with it because you're going to see what's available, and you may not know you need data until you see what data are there. So I think it would really open up a whole new world. Now, the other point I want to make is the Census Bureau is working a lot harder to make data more accessible. We're trying to demystify it, right? We don't want you to have this trepidation. So we have web apps. You can download on your Android phone or your iPhone a web app like America's Economy, or another web app I want to plug called Dweller. These just help get data into, you know, the public's hands more readily. You can visit census.gov, or if you're interested in business data, business.census.gov, and use interactive maps to pull your data. You can use really easy to access couple-click web apps. So we are really trying to demystify the data.
Or get an intern. Let the data analysis done by the intern, because that's what they do. They do market research, and they are very good on evaluating data. So these are great
information. I wanted to add too, to complement what you were sharing on the U.S. Census, is Montgomery County Park and Planning also has a wonderful website and also has a lot of data demographics, a lot of the information that you had shared also that's specific to the county, master plan updates, sector plan updates. You know, if you're looking to where the county is growing and how it's growing and that type of thing, that particular site has a lot of free and good information that oftentimes complements what the U.S. Census shares as well.
And I also want to point out, like, we all think we know our community, and we probably do. But I come in and provide data presentations regularly to different audiences, and I promise you, there are always people who are surprised. Data outpaces our notions of what we think our community are. We're releasing data annually. You might be conceiving your data, your community, as what it was 3 years ago. Montgomery County is adding the most people of any county in Maryland. It's very dynamic and very diverse. So it behooves you to learn. This is another reason I encourage you to learn to access the data, because you're going to want to come at it again and again to see your community as it changes through the data, through the lens of the data.
Did you know that you can make a donation to support our educational, training, and community programs just by dining out for your favorite restaurants? Through the Good Dining program, participating restaurants will donate in your name up to 6% of your bill to Montgomery Community Television, Montgomery Community Media. There are nearly 300 participating restaurants in the Montgomery County area. You can make a difference today by registering at goodsearch.com/good dining. Please select Montgomery Community Television as your charity when you register. Thank you.
First sale. We're really excited about it, and it looks like we have good candidates in both countries that we will probably choose in the next 3 months to be our distributors, and we're off to the races.
We honestly do have great quality products, a superior company, and we've had the help of the commercial service, and we just know that people need our products in other countries, and we'll be glad to sell them to them.
Absolutely. It'll be one of the best experiences you'll ever have in your life.
Now, in terms of interns, and I know with Dr. Pollard and also Gul, I'm sure you all are ecstatic when the small business community reaches out, or the business community in general reaches out to identify resources inside of the college and the university in case of Maryland. How do we as business owners take advantage and sort of raise our hand to say, hey, we need help, we need an intern? What's the best way for us to do that?
I would offer there are probably two major ways. Initially, one of the things that happens quite frequently is people call the office of the president, and we simply redirect you to the appropriate place. There's lots of information we have in our office, but more often than not, you want to talk directly to the persons who are able to help respond to you. So we oftentimes do that and redirect internally. The second one that I often am very familiar with is that on our college's website, two things I would tell you is that if you were to go to our employment services, there's information about opportunities for how to access our student population, to send information to them, to post on our employment websites. And I'll also say that it's a very building relationships. What I find to be very remarkable about the themes that have been even raised here in this panel, very few things in life do you do on your own. And I think that very few people who are successful in life do them on their own. So I think the idea of being able to say that I can make a connection and understand what the data can tell us about our community, that's not going to be information you have yourself. You build that relationship to understand, which is powerful, my colleagues have been talking about here, how you have to look out in order to bring people to you. I think those are great opportunities. The college stands ready to do that. We help businesses each and every day, whether it be with our own services that we procure, all the way to helping find talent and who can help support that and create educational experiences for our students, I think is incomparable.
Awesome. We have a question?
Yeah, hi. This is actually not a question for you all so much, but when we're talking about internships, if you'd like to put a face to somebody that you can talk to about getting an intern, I'm actually running the Hillman Entrepreneur Program at Montgomery College right now. I've got a number of interns with me today, but I also have others who are going to be coming in the fall. So I've talked to a number of you, but if there's some people that I haven't talked to yet who would be interested in exploring the idea of working with an intern, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. And I know the other thing that we get when we think about Montgomery College or University of Maryland, we often think about those students that are transitioning out of high school into those academia settings. What about, like, if I am a seasoned business professional, or maybe I'm a federal employee who's retiring, and now I've decided, hey, I'm coming out of retirement, but I'm like 40 some odd years old. I would like to start my own business. What resources do you all have or make available to help those older individuals?
So I say that's what we specialize in. I love to talk about our traditionally aged students who are exceptional. They come right out of high school. 60% of MCPS graduates who stay in state come to Montgomery College, and they do well. I was looking at a statistic earlier that about 70% of our students transfer to University System of Maryland. So we do very well in that space as well. But the space that I think I take great pride in is this value to the community of helping working adults who are in the process of transitioning their lives for whatever different reasons, to meet them where they are and help them be very thoughtful about that. Whether it is they're wanting to start their own business, if they want to go into the public sector, all of those things are very possible through programs and services that we offer. I think about a couple of other programs that are very interesting in Montgomery College. Our biotechnology program, referencing the comment you made earlier, Kelly, over half of the folks in that program already have a baccalaureate degree. Some of them have graduate degrees. So they're coming to Montgomery College because they're able to get a credential, a certificate, or an associate's degree to go into a high-paying job and be able to match that. But they couldn't have done that with their baccalaureate degree. That's something that we're doing very well. Clinical trial technicians. These are folks who we're partnering with Amarex, a company here, to help prepare individuals to manage FDA trial processes for new pharmaceuticals. This is something that, people are like, well, how do you do this? You come to your community college. We are not just the place where half of our work is done very specifically with traditionally aged students. The other part of our work is working very deliberately with businesses to create programs that lead to jobs, to do economic development, workforce development. And when we do it really, really well, which is what I think we do at Montgomery College, the community knows and they come to us, but we just do it. And we sit down. So I probably had 3 or 4 people here today mention to me about an idea, and I'll call my colleagues at the institution and say, we need to follow up with that, because those are opportunities where there's a felt need. That's how you create community change and build capacity.
So how do, as an adult learner, how do we find out more? I know you referenced in terms of going to the college's, the website to learn more about how to hire an intern, but if I have a specific learning need, would I then go to the website again, or do you all have a department that's specifically set aside to address the needs of an adult learner?
So we do have adult learner services on each of our campuses, but in addition to that, we have a welcome center on every campus. You can contact those areas. If you call the college's main number, we have, I actually worked that office one day, and I think I about died, because we had people making phone calls from understanding financial aid to finding out how I can be a certified nurse assistant, to understanding where does one park. I mean, all the things. These are folks who specialize. Our response centers are absolutely glorious in doing that. We are a large organization. As you described earlier, 60,000 students, over 2,000 employees, a budget of $250 million. We do a lot. So we're very large and we're complex. We want everybody to feel that we meet them where they are. So taking the opportunity to whether visit those centers or contact our response line, we'll connect you with the right person within the organization to do that.
Awesome. And because it has blown my mind in recent weeks or months that I've just sort of grown to know what was going on at Montgomery College. And I mean, I would advise anyone who hasn't visited the college campus recently to really go and check out what's going on, particularly with Germantown campus. We see a lot of construction. Can you explain what's taking place there that will impact local and small business?
I love talking about that because it definitely impacts our economic development here in the county. What's very interesting, the first new hospital in over 40 years will be built on the Germantown campus. and we have, working in partnership with Holy Cross Hospital, leased a portion of our land to them to put this hospital there. But we didn't do it simply as an economic proposition. What became very important is that we saw the opportunity to, one, provide teaching spaces for our students who are in our health programs, nursing and other allied health, to have internship and clinical experiences directly in that hospital. In addition to that, as we know, a hospital is just not composed of people who work in the health sciences. It is accountants. There are people who are going to be patient care advocates. There's the whole plethora of that enterprise. So many of our students will have the opportunity to work in that, the synergies that come from that experience. But we also have at that campus, in addition to the hospital going up, glorious, I don't even know how to describe it, huge facility that going there for our bioscience and technology programs, outstanding facility to bring state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art learning to our Germantown campus, and then we'll be rounding out some other programs that you'll be seeing happen at that Germantown campus. So it is indeed an outstanding institution that's doing outstanding work for the community.
And the business incubator.
Oh, and the business incubator in the Germantown campus as well.
Yep.
Awesome. Can you expand on that a bit?
Wow, let my colleague do
would
that.
you like
Please,
to talk
go
about it,
ahead.
Raul?
Yeah, Raul, please.
No, I think that it's biotech and IT. I know it's going to be a stronger biotech incubator in particular, but this was a partnership that was envisioned some time ago, and the beauty behind it with the companies that I remember that were tenants there was that they were able to hire a lot of these students. And that are doing biotech and IT and majoring in those areas. So it's a good ecosystem environment for business and entrepreneurship and innovation. So the Montgomery College campus in Germantown is growing exponentially, definitely.
Awesome. Question?
Hi, I'm David. I'm a founder of Global Education Research Alliance. It's a nonprofit based in Maryland, in Washington, D.C. area. My question is this. I would like to know if any program is there for dropout students from Montgomery County, and what we do for them, what Montgomery County does, and then also what small businesses can do to help them out. Because I know that's a huge market also, like, in this area. I would like to know if any program is there for present time, because my nonprofit, we do have one program we develop, and we would like to collaborate with that. My other questions that I have, we're talking about the students and internship program right now, but I also spoke with a lot of students in this area, and then we noticed that a lot of students been used by doing just internship, because what their education is, what they're learning, and then internship they're doing is mostly it's a clerical job. And how the clerical job will help them out, how they can define their best as a better candidates if their degree says something else. And I would like to know if, what to do about these things, and then thank you very much.
Sir, I'd be happy to speak to the first one and can chime in on the second one as well. What I would offer to you is that Montgomery College has several opportunities for students who have been, who did not complete high school. And I would tell you, this is actually a county issue as well. As a matter of fact, the county executive and the county council recently asked the LO to create a report on this and underengaged youth in Montgomery County, and particularly people who have students who have not been successful in the educational system. What are the strategies that can be used to bring them together? So economic development has been tasked to actually lead some major initiative in this and bring a strategic plan regarding this issue to the county by November, if I'm correct, November or December 1st. That being said, in the meantime, Montgomery College is always there. What we have been very clear about is that we meet every student where they are, and are very deliberate about that. You do not have to have a high school diploma to attend Montgomery College. What you have to have is a willingness. You have to be willing to be placed and to receive services to help you be successful in that environment. In addition to that, we have in our continuing education and workforce development program wonderful skills and services that help prepare and transition from being underprepared, going to being prepared, and then helping to add credentials so that someone can move into the workforce. What I would offer to you in this regard is that we have an opportunity in this county, and I have been probably very vocal about this and will continue to do so. As our colleague from the Census Bureau could tell you, we are probably one of the most diverse communities in this country. And what I find remarkable about that is that if we're going to use our diversity as something that we speak to very favorably, we also have to make sure that every person has the right and the opportunity to thrive in that environment. We have an achievement gap issue in this county that we're working on, both at the K-12 level and at the community college level. I would also offer to you, and I'll say this in closing because I can go on and on about this, our demography is changing in this county. We have to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive, whether that be a student who has not completed high school. We want them to become a tax-paying resident of this county, so we need to make sure that we meet them where they are.
Can I have just a really quick, and this is what I shared earlier about Friday, the partnership
Yes.
initiative through the foundation addresses a little bit on a smaller scale. Hopefully it can grow more, but when we talk about high school dropout rates, I mean, that program is meant for kids that are forced economically in a situation where they have to work and go to school in order to provide for their families.
Yep.
Immigrant population,
Yes,
first generation,
definitely.
that's a reality. So the foundation and the chamber are in tune to that, and that's why by having these types of programs, and hopefully they can grow to handle more bandwidth with it, but that's one of the areas that we address so that those students will remain in school, motivated and mentored. And that's another thing too with dropout rates, especially in the Latino community, is sometimes the absentee parenting. And that's an area that we need to work on as a community in general as well, but it's an area that we're addressing too.
And I wanted to make a remark because telling that story of need in the community, you can do so with data. And not only do we have data released annually that will tell you the rate of people who have not completed high school, but you can disaggregate it by race and Hispanic ethnicity, and then you could begin to develop programming, meet people where they are, that is most responsive to the circumstances.
Very true.
Yeah.
Last question?
Hi, I'm Hyun Martin, and I own a spa called BU Spa, but I want to do formulations, and so that is a new part of my business, and so is an incubator a good area, good fit for that? Because eventually I want to do product formulations and manufacturing.
Okay, yeah. And you said spa?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you elaborate a bit more?
I want to do soaps where basically you wash away your negative emotions, and then you have a spray that will help you infuse the positive emotions. And it may be more placebo, but there is energetic stuff that would be doing as well.
I think from what I understand, the incubator in Wheaton might be an interesting one because they have multiple services that are there for businesses like yourself. That might be one option. I would definitely contact the Department of Economic Development with the county, and they can steer you in the right direction. I mean, there's 5 incubators, but there's some companies that are a better fit than others. But the support is out there.
So, what do you do for manufacturing? I mean, that's because manufacturing is so expensive.
Yeah, that part I don't know, but what I'd be willing to, as has been said by Raul, I think there are people who actually know that a little bit more, have expertise in it. The other thing I would tell you is that the college is in the process of exploring a series of fab labs as well to allow you to be able to experiment on that and to see if you can do that yourself in partnership with several entities. And I think your point is very well taken. I'm not a business person of that knowledge on how you go from idea to production to manufacturing to sales, but I do think that you have to have a place where you can play with that. And that's hopefully something that we'll be able to help we will be in our full service community college.
Okay.
Also, and at the state level, there might be some resources for you for manufacturing, especially in the Baltimore region.
Okay.
Possibly.
Thank you.
Last question?
I'll be very quick. Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. You offer some resources. There are a couple at Montgomery College I would like to offer. One is the Kaufman program. It'll allow you to go, as the good doctor said, from start to implementation. If you're ready to go into business for 6 months, we have training support that will allow you to do that. Also, I hope this group will have an opportunity to address veterans who want to go into business. The college has resources for that as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, with that, we are going to conclude this particular panel. The panelists hopefully will be able to stick around for a couple of minutes just to answer any additional questions that you may have, but I definitely want to thank you, Dr. Pollard, Gul, Raul, Nesreen. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Small businesses often need capital to get started, and the U.S. Small Business Administration can be a valuable resource. The SBA does not make direct loans to consumers, but it will guarantee loans that small businesses take out from financial institutions. An SBA guarantee can convince a financial institution to lend to you because the bank can be confident that it can recover its money from the U.S. government if you default on your obligations. In order to qualify for an SBA guaranteed loan, you should be prepared to share a business profile, loan request, collateral, and business and personal financial statements with your lender. The more complete this information is, the more likely you are to get the loan. It is difficult to start a new small business or to keep a small business going in an economy filled with superstores. The loan programs created and implemented by the SBA are designed to help small businesses compete in today's marketplace and can be an important source of funding for small businesses.
MyMCmedia.org has the spotlight on Montgomery County. Get going with MyMCmedia.org for constantly updated information like neighborhood events, newsmakers, hot topics, arts and entertainment, and much more. It's the one spot for everything Montgomery. Let the MyMC Media spotlight shine on your day. And while you're here, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and find out what people are talking about right now. MyMCmedia.org, spotlighting your day every day.